My name is Mohang. I'm from the Val Center, and I'm going to be your program director for today's event, the Anxiety and Stress Management Workshop.
Welcome to our stress and anxiety workshop. My name is Audrey Chauke, and I'm from the Gauteng Region Sunnyside office. I would like to welcome you all. Please feel free to engage as the workshop is designed for you. The purpose of this workshop is to help explore how to counter stress and anxiety in our daily lives. Also, how to manage our stresses, especially as we are approaching exam season. So just relax and enjoy the workshop.
I would like to introduce Dr. Tipe, who will be our first speaker for the workshop, and she will be informing us on stress management and coping strategies. Especially now, since exams have started, I believe that this information is going to come in handy, and I hope that our students will be jotting down information.
Okay, stress management, making stress our friend. What a way to coin or to phrase into a presentation. But the reason why I put it this way is because stress is part of our lives. It's part of who we are. And there is no way of us avoiding it. Stress is okay to an extent. I would say on a continuum, on the far left we can have stress, and then on the far right we might have suicide, and in between we would have things like anxiety and depression and the likes. Being a good thing that my colleague is going to also touch on anxiety today. So stress is just there at the foundation, at the bottom of everything, and at the minimal level, it's part of everybody's daily life. So it's best if we know how to handle it, and best how to accept that it's not gonna go anywhere. There is no way to go through life without stress. Moreover, so when you are a student studying. But this is not to scare you or anything. Once you can accept that it's normal to be stressful, to be stressed, or for exam times to be a stressful time of your life, that's okay. But as soon as this stress is going to hinder you from performing, that's when it becomes a little bit too much. That's when it moves from stress to probably becoming an anxiety, to moving on to being depression and the likes. So stress is just a response to the body that you need to adjust something. That change is required. You need to be serious. You're about to get into exams. You've been studying so hard. You've been paying so much money. You've been dedicating yourself, sacrificing your time. And now stress is telling you that, okay, now it's crunch time, that you are going to be tested through exams. So if you don't have stress during exams at all, something is wrong. That's basically what I'm saying. But what I'm saying also is that this stress must be manageable. It must be a healthy way, a healthy type of stress. I wish they had a name for it, but there isn't a healthy name for stress. Stress is stress. It's like in the athletic world, in the sporting world. If you are not going to be stressed that you are going to compete, something is wrong. But if this stress is going to cause fear to a point of your muscles not being able to relax so you can execute what you need to execute, that's a problem. So it can be either from an internal process, such as physical health issue, mental health challenges, or emotional problems. But this time I know that it's going to be through from exams as an external environment. You know, even positive life changes can be stressful, such as weddings. When you prepare for a big day, Work promotion can be coming with stress because you don't know your role in the new position and all those things. But that should not trouble you too much. So what contributes to your response to life stressors in the way that you do? Why do we go through stress the way that we do? Sometimes it's genes. We are just wired that way from our parents. Our parents gave us this thing, and that becomes our first reaction to a challenging situation. We underactive or we overactive because of these genes. Sometimes it's just life experiences. You've experienced something, a traumatic event, you have been involved in a car accident, you experienced abuse as a child. Guys, as I'm going through these things and somebody's sitting there and might be going through these traumatic events, every time us as the Department of, the Directorate for Career Counseling and Development, when we have workshops, we are saying also we are marketing the services that we provide to you as students, as counselors, as professional counselors registered with the Health Profession Board, to also schedule appointments with us should you need therapy, should you need one-on-one sessions with a counselor. We are registered, we are professional, and we are here to serve such things that you might go through that will hinder your progress as a student whilst you are still studying. So if I'm going through this and then you know that you are one such person who has survived a plane crash, a car accident, and it left you with trauma, you have been abused, you were neglected, you have been robbed, and all these things. Some of you guys are personnel, you are ER personnel, people are working, you've been in the army, whatever the case may be that springs your trauma. If it's really, really disturbing you from studying, you need to schedule an appointment, please. So life experiences such as those can be traumatic. Sometimes career adjustment, like I said, you go into a new position that you are not familiar with your role and you are not so sure, you are not confident. Adjusting to just the UNISA as it is. As a first-year student, I can imagine moving from being taught face-to-face at school with your teachers and then coming to a distance environment where now you are on your own, doing things on your own, with minimal contact with others and lecturers. It can be very, very, very strenuous. That's why also we have this type of gatherings to help you adjust. I spoke about exams, it's exam time. Relationships, oh my God, we have a lot of students who are just not coping with relationships. If it were of me, if I was in charge of this life and your lives as students, I would say maybe pack the relationships a little bit while you are still studying. But who am I? Who am I? Maybe you need them to balance you as a student, but most of the times they're not balancing you because you come to us crying that you are not coping with relationships. So they are causing you trauma as well. So you are welcome to come seeing us. And spiritual turmoil at the last but not least. Spirituality is a very big thing. It's a very broad concept. Spirituality does not necessarily mean religion. We have people that are having ancestral callings. I know that there's a lot of stress, even depression there. And some of them, they do come through our offices so that we can come and see if it's the calling or if it's a mental health or if it's a combination. Because if it's a combination, we need to apply a holistic type of approach to helping them. They need to see us, they need to see their sangomas, their gobelas, and so on. Sometimes even these days, just church can cause you stress. People are eating grass and they are drinking petrols. So you may find that some of your friends respond very strongly to the stress events when others are just relaxed. If you need help with it, please let us know. In one study, they tracked 30,000 adults in the United States for 8 years. They asked these questions to the participants. How much stress did you experience in the last year? Do you believe that stress is harmful for your health, to your health? Public death record to tracking the participants yielded these results. It had stress and believed is harmful for, this is the 43% of risk of dying because of stress, because they believe that it is harmful for their health. Some had stress but did not believe that it was harmful, and then they did not have any risk of dying. So once you feel that stress is harmful for you, the risk of you not doing well becomes a little bit high. So in these 8 years of tracking this 30,000 participants, this was in 2013, 182,000 Americans died prematurely sorry, this is supposed to be 300,000, not 30,000. The study was tracking 300,000 participants, and out of the 182,000 died prematurely from the belief that stress is a bad thing. Just that attitude, just that mentality caused them a little bit of a premature death. So also, your mind is a very strong tool when it comes to managing stress or what you think and believe about stress. Hence, I'm saying to you, as soon as you feel and you believe strongly that the stress in your life that is causing you a challenge, especially when you try to focus on your studies, please do come by our offices and make an appointment. Now, over 20,000 deaths a year were recorded on that year in 2013. And then there's believed killed Americans in 1 year, more than HIV and homicide. Homicide is when somebody's being murdered. Suicide is when somebody's killing themselves. Homicide is when somebody's murdered by somebody else. So these deaths, they showed that a lot of people died from stress more than they did from HIV or cancer or being killed by others. That's how serious this thing is. And changing how we think about stress make us healthier. I nearly used a swear word. For sure, precisely. Like I said, you are what you think. Science agrees. Energized bodies preparing us to meet the challenges. Like I said, if it's energizing you to meet up with the challenge, then it's fine. In exercise, we need it, it's fine. Typical stress response that you will get is increased heart rate, constricted blood vessels. Now note, this is the reason chronic stress is often associated with cardiovascular diseases. People who have heart diseases usually have stress, very likely so. This is just a little bit of background from a neurological point of view. Those who are interested in neurology, so those who are going to do neuroscience, what do we call it in our field, colleagues? What is it? Neuropsychology, yes. If you are going to go that route, you need to know a little bit of these things. So the stress response starts in the brain. Our senses, we have 5 of them, send the information to the amygdala, an area in the brain that is responsible for emotional processing. Then from the amygdala, it gets interpreted as information, and then it is if it is perceived as danger from the amygdala, then it is sent to the hypothalamus. That's how we process this thing neurologically. The hypothalamus then acts as a command center a communicating center with the rest of the body through the nervous system, so that the person has the energy to respond to this stress. The hypothalamus connects to the autonomic nervous system, which is involved in involuntary body functions such as your heartbeat, our breathing, things that we are doing without noticing that we are doing. Excuse me, colleagues, I'm coming from a terrible flu. I hope that my coarse voice is not going to be irritating you. The autonomic nervous system has two components, the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system functions like a gas pedal in a car, and the parasympathetic nervous system acts like a brake. Just a little bit of neuro for those who might be interested one day. So once the amygdala sends a signal of distress to the hypothalamus, it is activated through the sympathetic nervous system by sending signals through the autonomic nerves to the adrenal glands. These glands respond by releasing a hormone called epinephrine or adrenaline into the bloodstream. The heart beats faster where blood is pushed to the vital organs. Blood pressure and pulse rates, they will go up, increase. We will see an increase in oxygen that will be sent to the brain, as well as one's senses becoming sharper. Epinephrine releases blood sugar and feeds into the bloodstream, supplying the body with more energy. That is the reason why individuals can react sometimes to stresses without thinking about what they are doing, because the hypothalamus also activates the HPA axis, which include the hypothalamus. My Teams thing is doesn't want to move and it's blocking my screen. But I believe you can read the rest that is remaining because I can't see from my side. So what other hormones are we forgetting about that are important when we experience stress? The underappreciated aspect of the stress response. Stress makes us social. This is the crux of my delivery today. This is why we are here. Why is this stress making us social? The hormone oxytocin, the cuddle hormone sometimes is referred to, is released when we hug. Oxytocin is a neurohormone that fine-tunes our brain's social instincts. It primes us to do things that strengthen close relationships. It makes us crave physical contact. It enhances empathy, how we relate and understand each other. Ubuntu, basically. Sometimes I start to wonder, some people in some cultural groups, they don't often show Ubuntu. Is the oxytocin hormone really working properly? It makes us more willing to help and support each other. It compels us to be more compassionate and caring. Now, this hormone is a stress hormone secreted by the pituitary gland as part of the stress response. It is just like the adrenaline that makes our heart pound as part of the stress response. That adrenaline is the epinephrine that I was talking about. When released, oxytocin motivates us to seek support. Our biological stress response nudges us to tell how we feel instead of bottling things up. Our stress response urges us to notice those who are struggling that we need to offer support to. Our stress response wants us to be surrounded by people we prefer, people who would support us. So thanks to this hormone, thanks to this stress hormone that is balancing us to be more human. Hence, I said, let's be friends with our stress hormones, and then understand that at the lower level, it is just nudging us to compete, nudging us to be serious, take the task at hand seriously. Oxytocin not only acts on our brain, but on our bodies also. It helps protect our cardiovascular system from the effects of stress. It is a natural anti-inflammatory that helps blood vessels stay relaxed during stress. Since the heart has receptors for oxytocin, that way the hormone helps the heart cells to regenerate and heal from any stress-induced damage, therefore strengthening the heart. How is knowing all of this going to make us healthier? The physical benefits of oxytocin are enhanced by social contact and social support. I already said that. When we reach out to others under stress, either to seek support or help, more oxytocin is released, then our stress response becomes more healthier. We recover faster from stress, or our stress response has a built-in mechanism for stress resilience, which forms the human connection. In another study, 1,000 adults were tracked in the USA. They were between the ages of 34 and 93. They asked them, how much stress did you experience in the last year? And how much time have you spent helping friends, neighbors, community members out? They used public records in the following 5 years, in the following 5 years to find out who died. After this study was made, they gave them 5 years, and then they started to follow them and to see who died of the sample that they used. Because, I mean, if you are 93 years of age, obviously you can tell that you are nearing your God to thee. The results were this way. For every major life stressful experience, for example, finances or family, the risk of dying was increased by 30%. This was not true for all the participants, though. Those who spent time caring for others showed zero stress-related increase in dying. Now, it's taking us back to that whole lecture that I've been giving you of neuropsychology and neurophysiology about the oxytocin. The oxytocin hormone is released when we care for one another. So the people who were sitting just stressing, 30% of them experienced the risk of dying, while those who were helping up other people showed 0% of stress. So I know you are a student, I know you are studying, but please, when you get any time to serve others, anytime to volunteer where you are, please make sure you do that. Most of you, I know you are church goers, connect with your church and help out there. Pastors are always looking for hands. Even in time, you don't only have to give your money at church, you can give your time, you can give your ideas. If you're a psychology student, definitely you need to be starting to volunteer, because if you want to be a psychologist these days, they will ask you in the selections, what have you been involved with as far as volunteer work is concerned? So just being a kind person will help reduce stress. You know, this is not your typical workshop where I'm going to tell you, no, go to exercise and eat healthy and those things you have to do. But at the top of everything else, being a kind person will help your physiological release of oxytocin properly, so that you can have this hugging hormone that wants to always want to find itself among people, that your stress level goes down. You will see when people age, you will see that this is true also, that when people age, they love to be amongst others. They do things together. That's why when we take care of the elderly, we group them and then we fund them activities to do, knitting, gardening, watching TV together, just chatting, having fun together, playing bingo. The more they spend time with one another, the more the stress hormone and the stress response is in order. In conclusion, the harmful effects of stress on our bodies are not inevitable. How we think and act can transform the way we experience stress. How we think and act. We first think and then we act from what we think. So watch your thoughts. They do become your actions. When we choose to view our stress response as helpful, not always seeing stress as harmful. We create the biology of courage within our body. So it's not everything, every time that when you are stressing, that is a bad thing. I told you when we started in the workshop. It's just what you think. And it's like that with all challenges, life challenges anyway. It is not the life challenges that brings you to our doors. It is what you think about the life challenges. If I just find out that I am HIV today, what I'm going to think going forward, it's either going to help or not help me. If I'm going to think that, oh, there's no cure for this disease, I'm going to die soon. Oh my God, I'm going to leave my wife and my kids behind. Who's going to take care of this? Yo, but what is happening? I can't die now, blah, blah, blah. That's when now the stress, oxytocin is not going to be there. I'm going to be left with a lot of other hormones that are not helpful until my body deteriorates. Even ARVs won't start to work because my body cannot, my thinking just cost me chaos. You come to us, but your thinking is not right. We try to help you. We are failing because you are not improving with therapeutic interventions that we give you. Because when you come to us, we are going to try to deal with this irrational thinking in your head. And if you do partner with us properly and you believe in us as therapists, we can win this monster and help you. Because once you start thinking right, your body will feel right and you will do right. At the end, we choose. When we choose to connect with others under stress, we can create resilience. We can create support structures. This whole perspective provides a whole new appreciation for stress, at least I believe. Stress gives us access to have compassionate hearts. Compassionate hearts. Stress allows us to find joy and meaning in connecting with others. Stress at a level that is bearable. A heart-pounding heart gives energy and strength. It means we can trust ourselves to handle challenges and to remember that we do not have to face these challenges alone. Chasing meaning is better for our health than to avoid discomfort. You know, when I was preparing this, I prepared this teaching from a solution-focused point of view because I'm a solution-focused therapist. So I didn't want to talk negatively about stress like most people do, because that's where we create a lot of challenges. But stress is just another mechanism that the Creator gave us to just prompt us to get ready for action that is more necessarily at the time that is needed. This is something that we can do also to enhance our stress response, being mindful of stress. What is mindfulness? Mindfulness is just appreciating what is. Things are just the way they are. Winter is not bad. Summer is not good. Spring is not bad. Spring is spring, winter is spring. Things are just what they are. The sun is shining outside. That's all what it is. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. You failing a module at school is not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Failure leads to mastery. When you go to a surgeon that wants to operate on your heart because you have a heart condition, you want a surgeon that is not fresh from high school, from Medunsa, that just didn't graduate yesterday. You want somebody that has long graduated, because why? They have failed enough. They're not going to fail on you. So it's not a train smash when you fail a module. You might fail a module while you are studying, but at the end of the day, you will finish your degree. We are here to make sure of that. Use our offices, use our services. We are here to make sure of that. I'm sitting here, I'm being called a doctor. Who told you I never failed modules? Who told you I never failed one module more than 2 times? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. We are here, we are going to help you. It's not going to be the end of the world. There's nothing wrong with failure. There's absolutely everything right with failing because it leads you to doing things, to mastering what you are doing. Mindfulness means to return to the present moment. You are not a failure. You failed a module, two different things. It encourages you to keep breathing and know that you are still here. You are still fully yourself. Nothing changes. It is about self-regulation. You need to regulate your attention and take an inquisitive approach to things. This is just activities that will help you with mindfulness. If you want, you start each day with a goal in mind. Listen to your breathing. Ask yourself, what is the purpose for today? How might I present myself today to have the best influence on myself? Best. And then you can influence others while you are fine. What quality in myself do I want to grow and strengthen today? Just today. What do I need to do to have a better self-care? During stressful times, how might I be more understanding of myself and others? You set a goal for the day, not for 2 days, not for a week, just for today. You take it one day at a time. You check in with yourself throughout the day with your thoughts. We can talk more about this if you come through our offices, if need be. We thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much to all of you and Dr. Tipe. I'm really touched by how she presented her presentation. You know, I thought it would maybe be a negative because when you speak about stress, mainly to me, it's like talking about negative aspects, but she gave me another perspective of stress, especially when she spoke about oxytocin hormone. Can I just ask you, Doctor, when I care and when I give, let's say, something to my neighbor, that feeling, that nice feeling that I get, is that oxytocin hormone?
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. It's when it's released and then it's prompting you to feel even much more warmer towards another person. Again.
Yes.
Yes, because most of the times we just go through feelings and then we think, I'm just feeling this thing, but we don't know the neurological paths of why we feel the way we feel. We feel because of hormones all the time.
Yeah, I must say that today I'm going to give more, I'm going to help more, I'm going to be there for people, I'm going to care a lot. Thank you so much, Doctor.
You're welcome.
Hello, Dr. Tipe. I truly enjoyed the lecture you just gave right now. It was really informative. But then I want to ask, how do you draw the line between helping people and having them take advantage of you?
That is a good one. That is a good one. Look, Emily, there are people who like to be on the receiving end, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very simple. Okay, maybe because I'm too want to be reading the Bible a lot. It says, "Do unto others as you like them to do unto you," isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So you will see somebody who is on the receiving end by not treating you the same way as you treat them. It's as simple as that. So if somebody doesn't treat you the same way you treat them, that's your cue to leave that relationship. It's not healthy.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. There's no reason for you to punish yourself where you are not appreciated.
All right.
Am I simplifying it too much?
No, you actually putting it in perspective. Thank you.
All right, thanks. Because that is not a relationship. To me, that is a ship that is sailing out of friendship already. There is no relation there. It's only a ship floating on its own.
Good morning, guys. Thank you so much, Dr. Tipper, for the chat. You left me quite hopeful. Just a quick one for myself. When I am stressed, I've recognized in my body, it sort of tells because I work a really stressful job and I'm still studying. So, for example, sorry, I just need to exhale. For example, once I'm stressed, during my tasks, I'll feel my stomach, for example. It gets so painful, right? And I end up not working. So how do I cope with that? Because you obviously I cannot afford to take a sick day or half a sick day every time it happens. So in that moment, you know, some people have said breathe, or sometimes the knots, if I could call them, on my stomach get so bad that I end up just leaving the day and I continue tomorrow. But one, that's not realistic. So what can I do just in those moments? Thank you.
Try to see what it is that we are thinking about. Because you don't feel before you think. There is a thought that is going through your head that is not helping you. That is toxic.
Okay.
And then you need to replace it with reality and accept that reality for what it is. For that time being. Remember when I said mindfulness, come back to the now. You know, I lost 100 rands. It was my last. I wanted to buy lunch with it. It is a bad experience as it is. However, I might have to think, okay, it's only 2 hours before I knock off, then I can get something to eat from home. Try to reason with your negative thinking. That's basically what I'm saying. Don't be always trying to defend your limitations, people. Much as there is a problem, there is also a solution that you can think of simultaneously and bring your focus back to more positivity and accepting things the way that they are. If you come through our offices, we help you master this technique that I'm telling you about.
Okay. Now, where do I find the offices?
Where are you sitting?
I live in Midrand, so I'm in between Roodepoort and Pretoria.
You can come to Pretoria.
Okay. No.
And then ask
do that.
At the registration building there, just ask where the counseling department is. Or you can write to counseling@unisa.ac.za and then we can counsel you online.
Oh, okay. All right. No, thank you. I think I get it. It's the spiraling of thoughts that are negative, that are not controlled, that normally I'm trying to defend or fix as opposed to look for a different perspective. And yeah, that's a continuous cycle. Okay. No,
for sure. And that's what we have trained our brains to, how we have trained our brains to behave, isn't it? So we need time as well to undo that.
Okay.
Okay,
no,
I'll write the email
so
here.
Much.
Somebody, you're welcome.
Thank you. So now we're gonna call upon our next speaker, one of our own, Ms. Dipale, who will be informing us on mental health, wellness, and the accessible resources to students. Ms. Dipale, the visual space is yours, ma'am.
I'll be focusing on mental health, wellness, and accessible resources. But before I can do that, let me ensure that you can all see me. Let me stop presenting. I will present again. This is me, Ms. Dipale, Masarame Dipale. Okay, thank you, colleagues. I'm going to switch off the camera and start presenting. Okay. As I was preparing for this workshop, I realized that there are so many definitions about mental health. There are so many of them. So I'll give you an orientation and the background around mental health. Colleagues, let me indicate that since we are psychologists, most of us, and we rely on the teachings of Freud, Carl Rogers, Adler, Maslow's theory, Kat Levin, and the others. Then as I was preparing for this workshop, I saw it necessary to consult or to go through to check actually what these theorists are saying about mental health. For instance, Freud says people should know themselves. They must have self-awareness. self-awareness, self-knowledge, while Rogers says more freedom versus more choices. When you are free, you can make more choices. And Adler says people must have their goals in mind. They must be able to set their goals. While Maslow's theory says talk more, it's Maslow's theory of need, but he talks more about self-actualization and self-realization. Because when you know yourself and you know what is it, actually the goals that you must set for yourself, so that at the end you are self-actualized, you reach what you want to achieve or what you want to be. Then comes Kat Lewin, who says, I'm very sorry, colleagues. Then comes Kat Lewin, who says, psychological integrity of a person is related to his environment, because we interact with the environment and the environment affects our psychological well-being. Therefore, all these theorists, they contributed to make us to understand what mental health is, or what mental health is all about. Therefore, I'm going to explain what mental health and wellness is, but I'll start with mental health. According to WHO 2021 and Velasco et al. 2020, they define the two. Actually, there are so many definitions, but I saw this one of WHO, that is World Health Organization, and Velasco et al. And with others, 2020. They define mental health as a state of well-being in which an individual realizes his or her abilities. An individual can cope with normal stresses of life, and an individual is still able to make contributions to his or her community, despite the normal stresses that he is going through. Therefore, we also have a state of the mind. People will always say, what is the good mental state? When a person has a good mental state, he will be able to make good responses. He will be so vital, he will be full of life. He will be able to demonstrate the inner potential, because as students, we have the inner potential. We have this potential in us. We can do it as long as our mental states are or our mental state is good, then we can do it. Our cognition, we can do well, we can improve our cognition, we can be able to think properly, to put the statements accordingly. We can even be able to display those feelings, even the willpower. What is it that I can do best? Do I have that power? And it will show through our behavior, how we behave, and also based on the personality, the personality that we portray. Then one will ask, why is this workshop so important? This workshop is important for our students because studies have revealed that there is an increase of mental health problems in university students. That is the entire world, not only in South Africa, but the entire world. And students must be knowledgeable with their mental health issues. As long as students don't know what to do when they experience a particular mental problem, then it's a problem. We have to, as students, prevent to stigmatize. I'll give an example with this one. the other time I was in the office and there was this student who said, I've been sitting there at the corner these days. I don't see many students coming for consultation. Then I was so surprised because you sitting there and check who is coming. And she just laughed. Then I was so surprised. I just said, there is something wrong here. Because these people like this will end up stigmatizing, will end up saying, why are you so and so? Why are you attending mental wellness? Why do you go and see a student counselor? So I was just so surprised, and I ended up saying to a student, you must come and see me. Till today, she never came. Therefore, we also have the improvement regarding seeking help. We are aware that students don't want to seek help. They are afraid, they are shy, and I mean, we are there for you. So just come, and at all times, we make sure that we maintain confidentiality, because you remember you can report us because we are being managed by Health Profession Council of South Africa. So you know that you've discussed this with me, and at the end of the day, you hear it on the passages. Then you have the right to report me at Health Profession. So please, that's why we see this workshop as very, very important. And World Health Organization also has classified the students' mental health as a critical public health issue. They saw it as very, 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 very significant. So meaning students must be attended to in order to improve their mental health. And then what is it that we are doing as the unit? We do awareness programs. Hence, we invite you, like today, we want to make you aware of different personality disorders. We want to make you become aware of mental illnesses, so that when you see the symptoms, then they will become your red flags. Then you will know that you have to consult. And then we have the programs and the resources available. Like, for instance, where is it that you can do in order to get help? In our offices, we have programs. We have a small booklet which can assist you in order to improve your mental wellness or your mental state. Mental health issues interfere with student success rate. As academics, we are aware that, as therapists, we are aware that the mental health issues interfere with student success rate. When a student has a problem, it's obvious it will affect his mental, it will affect his studies. It will affect her to an extent that others ended up dropping off from the course. And the next day they will come and say, I want to register, because we don't perhaps provide enough to our students, or because students don't come to us in order to get help. And then I will also explain mental illnesses, because I'm going to talk about a range of them. Mental illnesses is being referred to as a wide range of mental health conditions that affect a person's mood, his thinking ability, and behavior. I think we heard when Dr. Tipe was presenting, particularly about stress. Stress can affect one's mood, the thinking ability, and behavior. Therefore, I'm going to discuss the examples of mental health illnesses, because remember, why do we bring this? A good mental status it is all what we need, but immediately we see the opposite. Then it is when we talk about mental health illnesses. We have a variety of them. We have anxiety disorder, we have depressive disorder, we have stress disorder, as discussed by Dr. Tipe, we have personality disorder, we have prolonged grief disorder, we have schizophrenia, we have bipolar disorder. And I decided to choose just a few, particularly those that are experienced by adults or students. We still have like ADHD, because I remember I once asked one of the psychiatrists to say, what causes, like, for instance, bipolar disorder? And then he said to me, some of the disorders that are experienced by the younger ones, maybe like our children, and we don't attend to them. We don't attend to them on time, or at all, we don't attend to them. Then when a person is above 18 years, then he develops bipolar disorder. So I was just trying to indicate to you that some of the things, if you don't attend them on time, then they cause a disaster. And then we have, under anxiety disorder, we have three main anxiety disorders. That is the GAD, which is the generalized anxiety disorder. And then we also have the panic disorder, and we have the social anxiety disorder. These are the three that we have under the generalized anxiety disorder. But what are the symptoms, or what? Okay, before I go to the symptoms, one will ask, what is generalized anxiety disorder? How do I differentiate it from the others? Then generalized anxiety disorder is a severe ongoing anxiety which interferes with daily activities. You find that you cannot perform well at school or at home or in the community that you live. So it clashes with what you are doing on a daily basis. And how do we see that a person has anxiety disorder? How do we see that? Generalized anxiety disorder. We will see the following symptoms. A person will indicate that I have back pain, and then the other time will say, hey, I'm so fatigued. And a person will experience irritability. He will be fearful. He will always worry excessively, even about small things that one shouldn't even worry about. A person will be restless when sleeping. A person will sweat. He will be so nauseous. He will have palpitations. Give me water, please. The person will feel hot, like hot flashes. The person will experience severe anxiety. He will be trembling. He will lack concentration capacity. He will have headaches. So when you see this, you must know that these are some of the symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder. But I'm going to request that when you see this happening in you, you can consult. But it must be a number of them. You'll be knowing that today is back pain, tomorrow the pain will go down to my hip, it will go down to my thighs. Now I'm tired, I don't want to do anything. And remember, these symptoms are related, they are similar. So the panic disorder, it's when a person panic, when you panic with something, when you have to go and maybe climb a mountain, then you start panicking, you cry, you loosen your hands, when you have to climb, when you have to go through like traveling through a plane, you shiver, you do all this. Then this is panic disorder. You see a snake, you can't sleep for months, years, you even move from the area that you are staying because you have seen a snake, you panic a lot. So the symptoms are the same with generalized anxiety disorder. That's why I did not repeat them. They are the same. And then we have social anxiety disorder. The social anxiety disorder is when, like, when you have to socialize with people, then you get this disorder. Maybe as a public speaker, you become dizzy, you sweat, you become nauseous, you know, you have this fast heartbeat, you tremble. Now, when they call you to come and present, you say, hey, let me go to the bathroom first. I've got an upset stomach. You know, you always panic. When you are at social gatherings where people have gathered there, you panic, you have fear, you think they're looking at you, they are watching you, they will, you know, say negative things about you. Then you show these symptoms. And then we go to bipolar disorder. This is so interesting because here we see a person with maniac episode. That is, the person will be so high, you know, have high energy, you know, be so hyperactive. And when you check, you don't even see what the person is doing. The person will be having this reduced needs for sleep. He will, you know, sleep for 2 hours and he's awake at night, then he's busy cleaning, then he reads, then he do this, then he pack the, you know, the wardrobes. He's forever busy. He's forever busy. And there is loss of touch of reality. There's no reality because we have to rest as a person. We have to have a schedule to say, tomorrow I'm going to do 1, 2, 3. Today I will do. So they are forever busy. They have this high energy. So how do we see the symptoms, or how do we see them? They have mood swings. Remember, when you don't sleep enough, obviously you'll develop mood swings. You'll be sad, you'll be angry, not long you'll be, you know, excited, you know, happy. Your mood just changes just like that. You are irritable, you know, there is this irritability, small things irritate you, you know, you lost interest in things that you love to do. You find that you are a sports person, now you don't even want to know that Pirates and Chiefs are playing today. You don't want to go to the gym anymore. You don't want to bath, and you are such a tidy person, but you don't want to do all that. Because you are hopeless. Yes, and then others, they will harm themselves. That's why we see others, you know, cutting themselves, and when they see the blood coming out, they become excited and they feel good about it, and they feel that the pain has gone away. And others, they will lack concentration. When you talk with the person, she's far away. She didn't even hear what you are saying. The delusions, you know, yeah, the paranoid, they'll be suspecting that they will be bewitched. They will cry excessively, and they will have this excessive desire for sex. I'm not going to explain. I think you understand it better. And they will have, you know, the maniac episodes. You know, it's really sad to see a person who is experiencing bipolar disorder, because when they are in this state, they feel that they are powerful. Like, if, for instance, I'll give example of, maybe, let me say, you are in a relationship with this particular person. They always bring their life first. They feel very excited when they are being powerful to other people. They feel they're destined for greatness. All the great things should come to them. You know, so this is what they experience when they are in the maniac episodes. And then we have schizophrenia. Schizophrenia, mostly, when you want to see it, you can go to the mental health hospitals, then you'll see in the wards. That's why mostly they separate them from other mental illnesses individuals. because yeah, they have a serious mental condition where, for instance, there is a breakdown between the thought. They can't think properly. Their emotions changes here and there, and the behavior, you won't even understand. A person was like this, now she has changed altogether, and they lead to inappropriate behavior or feelings. They can hurt you, and you'll be so surprised. And when I was looking at preparing for this workshop, I checked why do they refer it as to this mental condition as schizophrenia. And then they said schize. In Greek, they say schize, meaning to split. And phren in Greek means the mind. So this means the mind has split, like it has split into two. That's why they can't think properly. The mind has split into two. There's no way you can think properly. That's why they do inappropriate behavior. They show no remorse in things that they are doing. And what are the symptoms? They will say to you they hallucinate. There are delusions where they will say they hear the sounds, they hear people calling their names, calling them, they see things, they'll be running to say, hey, there, what? Something is coming, somebody is coming to me. They are so, and also they are so disorganized. Their thinking is not organized. They lack motivation. And when they walk, their movement is so slow, and there is a change in sleep patterns. Like they are experiencing insomnia. Today he will be sleeping, tomorrow he's fine. So, he's fine. The sleeping pattern differ. And unfortunately, they have poor hygiene. When I was doing my practicals, I saw them at Vescopies. The other one went to the bathroom. After using the bathroom, he just take whatever he was doing and just smear on the wall of the bathroom. So it is because they can't think properly. So we also have the personality disorder, another disorder that is being unable to relate well with others. Here we have different types where we have the paranoid personality disorder, who they're always suspicious. And we have the borderline personality disorder. We have the histrionic. This histrionic, they will be like, a person will be like, wear high heels and not fashionable with makeup and what. And when you look at them, you'll ask yourself, because they are histrionic, personality disorders, obsessive compulsive disorders, they clean now and then. When they're asleep, they will wake up and go and check if the door is locked, if the car is still there. These are, it's a problem. Unfortunately, we experience them in our daily basis, in our families, in the students that work with, our colleagues, we all have this. But not that when you see a person like maybe maybe with the makeup and whatever and say he's histrionic. No, you must look at the symptoms. And then we also have the antisocial personality disorders. We have the narcissistic personality disorders. And some of them, we see them on the news. We see Trump. We see so many of them. And then here are the symptoms. How do we go through the symptoms? How do we see that this person has this particular disorder, that is maybe the personality disorder? At times, these people will feel worthless, like they are useless, they are not being considered. They'll have this anxiety, panic. They will have anger, they will feel empty, and they will be emotionally disconnected. And most of all, they have difficulty in maintaining stable relationships. Remember when I started, I also said, then after all these personality disorders, we are going to talk about wellness. Remember, you have been experiencing all these disorders. Now we come to wellness. How do you get yourself okay when you experience all this? What is wellness? Wellness is the act of practicing healthy habits. Okay, I understand some of the personality disorders or these mental health illnesses, some of them, they developed within our environment. Some of them is the genes. They come from the genes. Some of them is just a mistake that happened. And unfortunately, a person will develop this disorder. Then we are going to look at the factors that because we are now discussing wellness, we will look at the factors such as the physical part. How do we take care of our physical well-being? We have to exercise. We have to feed our mind with correct information. We have to feed our bodies with correct food. We have to, to take care of ourselves, self-care. After doing whatever, putting a lot of hard work, doing something, how do you thank yourself? Do you take yourself out or you just continue and work? Then you'll be affected. Spirituality. What is it that you are doing when you want to uplift yourself or when you are not feeling good and you want to be well? Depending on our frame of reference. Here we have, for instance, students will say, I believe in prayer. Then it's fine. We cannot say, no, don't pray. As long as we respect your frame of reference, pray. Others will say, I believe in meditation. It is fine. You can meditate. So spirituality, it depends on a person, a frame of reference. We cannot enforce to say, no, you must meditate. No, you must pray. It depends on a person. Remember, our frame of reference are not the same. And we must also look or take care of our emotional well-being. We must take care of our emotional well-being, know what is it that we have to do. Sometimes I normally tell people, don't be angered by small things. Don't affect your emotions, unnecessarily. Some of the things you just ignore them. There is this emotional intelligence. Exercise that. Have self-confidence no matter what. Positive self-talk no matter what. Positive self-image. Yeah, then you'll see that at least I can boost my emotional well-being. The environmental factors. What is it that is affecting us in our environment? And what is it that you can do in order to avoid that? In our environment, we have exercises. You can go to a gym in order to be a better person. You can exercise in your yard. You can develop your own healthy environment. Relate with good people, the people who will understand you, the people who will understand your frame of reference. Relate to the people who will uplift you, who will have a positive self-talk towards you, who will uplift you, So those are some of the things that we have to do. And socially, who do who do you socialize with? Do you socialize with people who will always drag you down? What is it that you are doing in order for you to thrive? Remember, you want to be well. So do you want to be with the people who will say you can't do it? We must look at our social skills. We shouldn't say I'm having stress and I'm going to drink alcohol. I'm going to drink drugs. I'm going to use drugs. No, we shouldn't. We must take care of our social life. And then one will also ask, what is it that we can do? Because I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling well. You know, it looks like I'm having this symptoms that you have spoken about. It looks like I have old obsessive compulsive disorder, or I have personality disorder, or I have bipolar or anxiety disorder. What is it that I can do in order to safeguard my mental health or my wellness? You must consult. There are student counselors out there. We are there for you. Dr. Tipe reminded us that we are there. We are at the regions. We have 5 regions. We have Val, which is me. We have Johannesburg, which is Mama Shu Maboa, Miss Mama Shu Maboa. We have Dr. Tipe in the DCCD. We have Dr. Pitswani in Sunnyside campus. We have Mr. Magahani at Ekurhuleni. We have Mr. Megwa at Florida. So we are there for you. We are there for you. Hence, I indicated that at the regions, we are there. At the DCCD, we are there. And let alone us, we also have other colleagues who works with us, except those that I've mentioned. We in the DCCD, we have both Dr. Wells. There are people who can take care of your mental health. And then we have the SADC, South African Drug and Substance Abuse or those who are taking care of our mental health. For instance, a person wants to commit suicide. We can refer the person to SADC because they work 24 hours, they are there. If maybe you are home, you are afraid to actually, I understand you won't wake me up because you are not well, you can call SADC. They are open 24 hours. There are those who are available at night, those who are available during the day. And then we have clinics in our neighborhood. We have hospitals in our neighborhood. We can consult. We have psychologists, clinical, educational, counseling psychologists who can assist us, who are well trained. And we have also the psychiatrists who also assist us in terms of also making diagnosis. So, and like admitting us in the hospitals and prescribing medication for us. So we have all this personnel or professionals who are there to assist us. We have wellness centers in our areas. Each and every area, they have their wellness centers. Even at UNISA, the main campus, we have wellness centers, which is meant particularly for staff members. If you're not feeling well, you can consult there. And you can also consult to a trusted person. But remember, if it's not a professional somebody, then he can give you awkward advices. So rather, maybe listen or talk, have a person to talk to, even if he's not a professional somebody, but just to talk, then make sure that you make an appointment with the psychologist and consult. Because at times you can maybe be relaxed and not being aware that maybe you are wasting time and you don't consult, and the problem it gets bigger and bigger. So please make sure that you consult. And as I was preparing, I think, I don't know what could have happened, but as I was preparing, there's something that I wanted to discuss with you. I thought I did put in here as like to present it, but I can see that it's not here. But because I know what is it that I wanted to say to you, we have on the personality disorders, we have a prolonged grieving. I want to indicate it. Prolonged grief disorder. With this one, I'm going to request, actually, I'm going to request that people must consult. When you grieve, make sure that you consult. You get help from the professionals, so that it mustn't be, it mustn't become now a distorted grief. Because we see most of the people, they end up experiencing, a distorted grief because they did not deal with it properly. So if you did not get proper help, then it is easy for you to get distorted or prolonged grief. Grief is a natural response to the loss, particularly a loss of a loved one. So most of the people, they will experience, with prolonged grief, they will, people will just, grieve and grieve and grieve and grieve. We understand behind the pain behind that, and we cannot say, it's now a year or it's now 10 years, but you are not cooling off. It's grieving. It's a natural thing, and we cannot prescribe when to have it done, because that's why we see people lingering in the grief. But we say people shouldn't grieve forever, because when you grieve forever, you end up having, sicknesses like high blood pressure. You find yourself experiencing heart attack, things like this, because you don't want to accept. Yes, it is true, you can't accept easy, but at least try to be a better person. I see some of the students now, there are students that I'm still seeing who are being affected by COVID-19 because they lost their significant others. It is understandable, but I would like to say, please, colleagues, please, students, let us not grieve and grieve, because the end product is not nice. Thank you so much. I wanted to indicate it because I see many students with this who are still not coping well, to an extent that you will end up referring to the psychiatrist so that he can be hospitalized. And at the same time, the person is losing her academic year, maybe twice, thrice. You find that now is the third year, the person is not coping. So let us accept. The other time I asked, how can we attend to this one? They say, as we live, we must ensure that we live a positive life. We plan our things, we discuss, we talk about that in our families, so that when it comes, it doesn't hit us badly. It will hit us, but it won't be so bad. Thank you so much, colleagues, and thank you for listening. Thank you.
Wow, and wow. Thank you so much, Ms. Dipale. Let us give her a round of applause and show her some love. That was a wonderful and well thought of presentation. Very informative. We got to learn a lot. The causes, the effects, the solutions, and indeed, Mental health is of utmost importance, especially now during exams. We want our students to be at ease, to be calm, so that they can be able to excel and focus in their exam. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm a pharmacist by profession, and I have to say it's the first time throughout all my studies that I've attended a presentation like this. So just congratulations and well done. My comment is, mental health is a very sensitive issue. We often see in pharmacy where people receive a prescription at the time when it's needed for some medication. And people feel reluctant to take the medication because there's still some type of stigma around the medicine for these conditions. And I think we need to be very sensitive and careful how we handle this, because these medicines are just as good and will improve your life just as well as a blood pressure medicine. It's also a chronic condition that needs to be monitored and addressed. So just from a pharmacist perspective, people shouldn't be reluctant to take medicine when it's advised because of stigma around it. It's medicine that's going to improve your life and is going to help you in the long run. That's my comment.
Okay, thank you so much, Yolanda, for your accolades. And thank you so much for bringing that, because yes, indeed, at times, you will be given a script and you'll only drink for a particular time. When you feel better, then you leave it out and you relapse. Because you are better, you relax, then the situation comes back, then you experience relapse. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much. Thank you. Anyone else? Like there's no one. Let me try to check in the chat. No, I don't see any comments, any question. I don't see anything here. Yes, there's nothing. There's nothing. So any hand? Okay, maybe I will say
Ms. Dibale, you are muted. You were saying?
trying to unmute, but it keeps on coming. I'm trying to unmute. No, I'm just saying perhaps there's no one to who maybe wants clarity or who has a question. So maybe I will say I managed to cover up everything in relation to the topic which were given to me, that is mental health and wellness, and where to go when you need help. So I think I've managed to cover up all that. Thank you so much. Over to you, Program Director.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Okay, we will be going now to polls. Ms. Dipala was the last speaker. Unfortunately, as we all know, all good things have to come to an end, right? So Ms. Dipala was the last speaker for our workshop. So we will now be launching polls. One of my colleagues will assist in launching the polls. Polls are basically us receiving feedback of the events and the workshops that we host for the betterment of our services to you. As you know, students, you are our priority. You are our VVIPs. So we would like to know what you think, any ideas, what we can add, the contributions that you have for us, what we can minus, and everything. And don't be worried, it's going to be anonymous. So feel free, be as honest as you can, as we are open to criticisms and we are open to improvement. So the polls will be launched on the chat or will be available on the screens. So please, and please fill in those polls for the betterment of our services too.
Anyone assisting with the polls? Program Director.
Ms. Tashlin, please assist. Ms. Tashlin will assist us with the polls. So just a few seconds. The polls are posted on the chat, so please, students, please give us your feedback. The first question states that, to what extent do you agree with the following statement? The information provided was relevant to my own context, work, or studies. So we either agree, be neutral, or disagree. Then you submit your answer. And then the second question is about us, asking you to rate the overall quality of the workshop according to you. Was it good? Was it average? Is it poor? Be as honest as you can. And what did you learn about the workshop? Any comments or suggestions that you can make for us to improve on our services to you? And the last question would be, how would you prefer to attend the workshops? Would you like to attend online, like we're doing right now, face-to-face or hybrid? So please fill that in. And while you are busy filling that in, we're gonna have the official closing of our workshop. We have unfortunately come to the end, and the official closing will be done by one of our own, Ms. Gloria Sipula. Ms. Gloria Sipula, are you here, ma'am?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Mohau. Good morning, everyone. As it has been indicated, the polls are on the screen. Please help us to complete them. And we have also posted the evaluation link on the chat. For those who are not able or were not able to access the polls, you can just access by clicking on the link which has been posted for the evaluations, so that going forward we can know the type of workshops that you want us to bring for you. All right, now doing what I was called here to do, we just want to say thank you to our presenters, Dr. Tipe and Ms. Dipale, for their insightful presentations. Yes, we are learning every day. And I think one thing that stood out the most from all the presentations is that seek help, consult. It can be professionally, it can be with friends, it can be with someone that you trust. But the most important thing is that you should consult, because you cannot do it alone. Ms. Tipe spoke about, good stress. Yes, we do know that there is bad stress and there's also good stress, and you should be able to identify which is which. And this is why we're having this program, so that we can be able to assist you where you need help or where it's necessary. With the exams coming, we know that it's not easy. It's not easy. We find ourselves having to, end up drinking certain things to make us not to sleep or to be awake or to be to focus and things like that. It's all because we are stressing a lot. So in all of this, just keep calm, stay calm, and plan your things properly, plan your studies very well, and I promise you, you will not go wrong.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Doria, for the official closing. Thank you, everyone, for attending. Because of you, we can proudly say that our workshop was a success. We know it's exams to our students, but thank you for attending. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good luck with your exams, and we love you and appreciate you. Thank you, and bye-bye. And don't forget,
before we close,
yes,
I see one of the students is birthdaying today, Yolena Nomganga, and she says this workshop, she feels it was really her birthday present, because she was feeling so drained, but she feels much better now after the presentation. Yes. Thank you, and keep well, Yolanda.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day until we meet again. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye, colleagues. Bye. Thank you, Program Director.